Hi, good morning,
And
folks. Today is July 25th, 2025. This is Coffee with Community Services, Alta California Regional Center's weekly service provider meeting. My name is John Decker, the Director of Community Services. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We have an exciting agenda to go over with you and our staffer introductions. So I'll do staffer introductions first and then I'll get into our agenda. So from our Community Services Department, good morning. I see Christine and Alejandra and Ethan and Tom. And I see Janice and Odelia and Yvette on as well. I see Carly and Mason, and from Client Services, our manager Toby Golden is on, and our QA manager Scott is on. We also have Damien and our lead community services specialist Jason on as well. Good morning. We've got our specialized services and supports unit manager Jordan on, as well as Jolana and Michael Mercado as well from Alta. Additionally, from Community Services, we've got Beverly and Kylie. Good morning, too. We've got Chris as well from Community Services. Good morning. Rhonda, our housing specialist. We've got Jessica and my assistant Zach. Our manager Helen is on from Community Services, and we've got Virginia and Shauna and Maria as well. And I am very pleased to see Jessica Markov, our client services manager. Good morning, Jessica, and Dana and Heidi as well, client services managers. Thank you for joining us. All right, for our agenda today, you guys are going to get some special preview information here at Coffee with Community Services because the department has recently released some new information and we're going to give it to you here first. Before we do that, we're going to do our sign of the week in Deaf Culture 101 with Michael. Additionally, Michael's going to share about a care home that he visited as well, an open house. We have a coordinated career pathways presentation spotlight. We are going to be talking about the state's new standardized vendorization process. So, how your new vendorizations with regional centers throughout the state are going to be processed. So, we're going to go over that. We are going to give an update and reminder about our upcoming transportation meeting that the Department of Developmental Services is putting on for transportation vendors. We are going to talk about the trailer bill. The department has released the trailer bill letter that goes over what we need to operationalize at the regional center. And so we are going to go over the trailer bill today. Jordan is going to talk about the upcoming Community Resource Development Plan public meeting. We are going to talk a little bit about the open house slash micro enterprise fair. And we are also going to announce that we are going to not have coffee with community services on the Friday before Labor Day as well. So a little bit of a big agenda. I will throw it over to Michael Mercado next.
all right, can you all see me? Okay. Good morning, everyone. So today, the signs for the week. There's going to be three of them. Um, Typically, right now we have court, work, doctor. We have different, or the signs we have right now are related to a bunch of different things. So we have schedule, we have appointment, and we have cancel. And those signs are related to a bunch of different things in life, right? So we have schedule. You're going to use your dominant hand. It'll look like this, the 5-hand shape. You're going to put your thumb in, so it'll look like a 4. Take your non-dominant hand, place it outward, and you're going to take it, go down. So basically, you're going to go across like this. So I'm showing you how you go down and then across. So down and across. You do that basically against your other hand. Okay, so that's schedule. Now the second one is appointment. So you take your dominant hand again, same hand shape, that widespread 5-hand shape, and you're gonna kind of circle it around and then bring it down into a fist on top of your other hand, or your non-dominant hand. That's appointment. Okay, and then the third sign is cancel. the wide open hand, and then bring it down into a pointer finger, just like a one hand shape. And then basically you're making an X. You're crossing out, like you're canceling something. You're just crossing out, making an X on that other hand, on that palm. That's cancel. Okay, so we're going to do those all again together. So schedule, appointment, and cancel. Got it. Good job. Okay. So we're going to do, I'm going to send you a link so that we can do a little more practice. There you go. There's the link for you. Put it in the chat. And now I wanted to talk a little bit about Deaf Culture 101. And that'll be included in the open house. I'm going to show you some pictures too and some videos. Jordan had let me know that we actually went to an open house that was in Newark, California. It was an open house for people that were specifically deaf and disabled. So basically, we call that Deaf Plus. It was a program for people with developmental disabilities. It was developed in the East Bay. It's RCABE. There is a team a team of people that are deaf, and I'm so sorry for the interpreter. I kind of froze for me. But there's a specific house there, and it's funded by DDS. And they were successfully able to develop a home for deaf and hard of hearing clients that they're able to have access. This house is completely designed to accommodate services that they need. I'm going to show you some pictures that they have of what the house looked like. It was gorgeous. We arrived and we were able to see everything they had there was state of the art. It was recently remodeled to fit perfectly the environment that the deaf and the hard of hearing clients there needed for them to get full and complete access. So I'm going to share my screen now so you can see. Okay, can you see the screen? Can you all see this? My PowerPoint? Yep, okay. So the place was actually called Blue Moon Living. So there's a picture of the house from the outside. You can see the front of the house here. There was a ramp so that it was accessible to anybody who needed the ramp. You could see there's a doorbell. There is a camera with also a light function. And there was staff ID access and a PIN code so that there was easy access for anyone, especially if there was any deaf or hard of hearing that had limited mobility, or if they struggled getting any key access or using a key. There's technology to help with opening the door. Once you entered the house, the colors of the walls were ocean colors, all ocean blue colors. And there was explanations that talked about how it was like Santa Monica blue for the wall. They explained exactly what it was. And it wasn't just because of, the look of it being a really nice color, but it talked about visually how it was a comfort for the eyes, for the visual appeal for when you're looking at sign language and you're seeing that all day. So you can see there, it talks about like how right here, it's like the living room area. You could see the pictures here where it talks about that. And you can see the floor too. There's a picture that talks about the flooring itself, why it was designed in that way. So that for deaf, if you're trying to get someone's attention, you can tap on this floor, and this specific flooring will help to make vibrations that will alert someone who's deaf to feel it. It's designed for them to specifically feel that vibration to get attention of the deaf in the room. It was very cool. The next room we went into was the kitchen. You can see it's a huge space, very big space, very roomy. And the reason being is deaf individuals are very, very visual. Many times, in houses, they're closed off by a lot of walls and you have to kind of turn and look to be able to see and get access visually. But for this, it was very open, so communication access would be very easy. In this room, there were a lot of lights and fans. There's a sink with garbage disposal, and for deaf, a lot of times too, there was some technology that would help with automatic things to turn off and on, and for things that were, if you wouldn't hear it, if things were left on or off, they would automatically have that function to turn off. So this area was designed in the hallway. So the kitchen and the living room, there was the halls in between. And there were doors that were designed for that if there was fires. If a fire happened, they would very quickly close off. There's a safety function to lessen the spread of fire. So often if, there's a fire and if you're, in a hearing environment, you would hear an alarm, there would be some sort of alert that would let you know. But if you're in an environment where, you aren't able to tell that there's a fire and these doors are maybe closed and you can't see through them, you wouldn't know that there was a fire necessarily. So these doors have little windows in them or ways you can visually see that in the other room if it was safe or not, if there's a fire in there, if there's not. So there are a lot of visual cues and visual ways that you could see if things were safe. So in this bedroom, or I'm sorry, in this house, there were 4 bedrooms and they were all just beautiful bedrooms. Um, I'll show you a video of 3 of the bedrooms. This is a picture of one of them, and then I have 3 others that were video, 3 others that I got video of. So just beautiful, right? I mean, the bedrooms, they were great. And you see the colors of the walls again, that ocean blue with light yellow, like kind of that cream type color. Again, very visually appealing and comforting. They explained that in each bedroom, there was equipment that was specifically related to basically giving them access into how to, alert people when they needed to wake up or to show them there's basically different equipment they showed us to give them access for specific needs for each individual. And you see these alarms here. There were 2 different alarms. They had the bed alarm that was basically set up as a vibration for an alarm for them to wake up. And there's also a fire alarm. Um, and there was an alarm that would alert them for when there's flashing lights and red kind of dial itself that would light when it would alarm for waking up. And then there was a light that would flash too. 2 weeks ago, I had talked to you about the alarm clocks, and you know, the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of product that they were using in their houses here that I explained to you before in Coffee with Community. And then at that top area, the alarm that they had up there, they can get triggered at the same time, and they can be a vibration and a light to alert if need be. But each room had their own alarm systems with 2 alarms in each room. They each also had their own personal doorbells for each bedroom. So that way, if a client wanted some privacy and have their own personal space and they could close their door, and that way, if the staff wanted to come in or another client wanted to come in and visit, they actually were able to use the doorbell to let them know they wanted access. So this doorbell was on the outside, and then that would cause a flashing light to flash inside the room. I do have a video of that to show you what that looks like. So you see that? And there's also a noise as well. So if you're hard of hearing, you would be able to hear it too. But it gave them a little extra privacy and security in their bedroom. And then in the restroom, they had two different restrooms. One was just the regular general restroom, and then there was one that was more access, that was a lot for had a larger area of access. It was larger for wheelchairs and all of that as well. So there was a room that was a bathroom that was more specifically for the deaf and hard of hearing. So if people needed to use the restroom and you're inside the restroom, if you're deaf and hard of hearing, sometimes if you have, there might be limited movement issues, or there would be lights that you could use to access it, which was very cool. And then you see in the second picture here, there is waters and the knobs for the sink. Often deaf and hard of hearing, the water will be on and they'll forget to turn it off because they won't hear it, right? And then the water bill will increase because they just completely forget, or it might flood the bathroom. So for these, this was designed to automatically shut off. So it was an automatic on and automatic shut off. So it was the touch. So if you left it, it would automatically shut off. So if you left the bathroom, so that was wonderful, wonderful for the deaf, because without being able to hear it, sometimes you would forget and it would keep running. So this was a great feature. And then the last part was the backyard. It was a beautiful backyard. It was great outdoor space. Show you a quick video. And real big yard, just beautiful with, again, with the ramp, designed with the wood. Often ramps, they don't look great, but this one looked really nice. The design of it fit well with the house. It was just a beautiful, beautiful home. So it was really exciting, to see this in Newark, California, to have them set this up specifically for deaf and hard of hearing clients that need that accessibility, and the RCEB clients that, and they screened specifically to find people that were a good fit for that. And I guess, and this just felt like a really good start. We definitely need to see more of this in the Bay Area and in Sacramento here as well, in this local area, to be able to see more in deaf and hard of hearing accommodations for communication and accessibility, and just more safe living environments that are all inclusive. Often deaf and hard of hearing are put in places with hearing roommates. Communication is limited. Staff a lot of times doesn't know sign language. It can be incredibly frustrating. A lot of times it doesn't feel safe. The goal is to see more of this type of living facility and to see this expand more in areas and communities in our area in the future. And if you have any questions about this Blue Moon living area, please let me know. Anybody?
First, I just want to say thank you so much, Michael. I'm so glad that you were able to go out there and be able to participate in the open house. I think this is a great time, Jordan, for us to maybe transition to our next topic, which is our upcoming Community Resource Development Plan stakeholder meeting. Because one of the reasons why Michael went to this meeting, and is sharing this with you all, our community, is this may be something that we might want to develop here locally in our area. And Michael is building his expertise in like these residential models, but also the different type of assistive technology you've already heard him present about, and now you can see it there in that home as well. I think there's also a lot of applications of this to people that might want to live independently or maybe in supported living as well. Some of these same type of physical plant or home layout, home equipment could benefit them as well. So kudos to you, Michael. Fantastic job.
So John, do you want me to go ahead and share
I
regarding
do. I
stakeholder?
do. I'm
Okay,
gonna I'm
perfect.
gonna remove Michael's spotlight, and I am going to now. Are you able to share your screen with it if you have it open?
No, I just am not a co-host right now, so
You,
just make me a
yeah,
co-host.
just made you co-host. So go
Oh,
ahead and share. Yeah.
perfect. All right, folks. So as John mentioned, right, this is the exciting time where we are reaching out to our stakeholders. Hold on just one second. You guys seeing it okay now? No.
Looks good. Yep.
Oh, it does? Oh, sorry. I
Oh, it
thought I was
did. Whoop.
my Teams thing. Hold on. Okay. Share. You guys are seeing it, okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as we know, for some of you, you may have completed the stakeholder survey that we sent out. That closed on last week on the 16th, right? So every year we reach out to our stakeholders for you guys to complete a survey so we can really hear from the public and our clients and our families, right, and our vendors about what are their most important resource developments for this fiscal year. So I wanted to show you here. This is on our events calendar. If you go to actually viewing the calendar, right, it will have all the information for our upcoming stakeholder meeting, which is going to be next Tuesday, July 29th at 1 p.m. I'll put this link in the chat. But we are hoping you guys can come and join us. We got over 250 survey results this year. It's the highest that we've ever received. So we're really excited to share the outcomes of the survey with our public, and then also give the public an opportunity to ask questions and maybe provide us even some more verbal feedback regarding development priorities during the public stakeholder meeting. So really hope to see you guys all there next Tuesday. I will put this in the chat for you now, so you guys have that.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Again, those of you that may have felt like you really liked what Michael presented, and perhaps you're a residential provider and you have an interest in developing a home like this, please don't hesitate to, you can certainly just send an email to Jordan. You can send an email to Michael if you have an interest in doing something like this. Again, Jordan's team are the ones that do the resource development, but Michael is going to continue to become more of the subject matter expert on some of these specialized type of services for individuals that are deaf or have lower hearing levels. So awesome. Thank you so much for that. Jordan, every time we send someone to go do a tour, we need to get that type of presentation back.
Yes, nice.
Of the information. That was awesome.
That was.
Okay. So next, sorry, Pam, I wanted to stick that in there a little bit first because it went so well with Michael's presentation. But Pam, you are up next, and you are a co-host, so you can share your screen if you'd like.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, John. My screen share is put to shame by Michael's presentation, which was so lovely. But I just have a couple flyers that I will throw up on the screen for you to look at, so that you don't need to only be looking at my face while I talk. So as John said, I work for Progressive Employment Concepts, and we wanted to talk a
So
little
I think we
bit.
got half a flyer and half of your email.
No,
Yeah.
that's not at all what I wanted.
Yeah, that's all right. So it's
Thank
recorded on
you.
YouTube. It's okay.
Thank you so much for saying that. Are you now only getting the flyer?
Looks perfect.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool. The upside is that my email, at least that section of it, I think is pretty non-controversial. Just a lot of, there's a driver's training email on there. No big deal. Okay. So, as John said, I work for Progressive Employment Concepts, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about a couple things related to customized employment, coordinated career pathways being one of them. So Progressive Employment Concepts, if you don't know, we've been around for 30 years this year. It's been quite a while. And throughout that time, we've really been passionate about competitive and integrated employment, and have really tried to always be matching best practices in our field. And a big part of that has been increasing our offerings for customized employment services. Customized employment being employment for all, right? It's an employment service methodology that really aids in all people, regardless of their disability, regardless of the complexity of their support needs, being employable, and will help you figure out how. So coordinated career pathways then is a really wonderful opportunity for us to expand our ability to offer and connect people with good individualized employment services, whether customized employment or another methodology is the best fit for them, helping them do that. So we are actively accepting referrals for the Pathways program right now, of course, starting with the Navigator service. The Navigator service is especially cool if you don't know, because it is the creation of a person-centered career plan. PEC, along with another couple organizations, helped to create a person-centered career plan template for Cal APSE that is, you can check out at any time, but it's pretty thorough. It's got a person-centered plan section, but then also a financial plan section. So we'll do benefits counseling with you through this service. We'll help you figure out, okay, you want to work. What does that mean for saving money? What does that mean for wealth building? What does that mean for credit building? All of those kinds of things that come along with work that you need a plan for, but aren't like the direct support of just helping you, for example, in job coaching services. Of course, discovery and job development plan and ongoing support plan included in there. One of the really cool things about the Navigator service is that depending on your needs, we can serve people anywhere in Alta's area, not only in our in the service areas that we are vendored for, like Taylor Day Service or 055 or something like that. So I wanted to highlight that for everyone. And then along with customized employment being sort of the topic of the moment, I wanted to tell folks that so first half, customized employment service coordinators, we're taking referrals. Second half, customized employment providers. We have our next ACRE training scheduled. So PEC, if you don't already know, offers ACRE training with a focus in customized employment. We often get asked, when is the next one scheduled? And we have the next one scheduled now. It is going to be in August in person. It's a 40-hour training. I will also put these flyers in the chat for you to take with you, mull over. The QR codes are there if you would like to register. If you are a provider who is currently or would like to be providing coordinated career pathways services, ACRE is a required component for the staff providing those services. So it's a good resource for you. You can email for our ACRE training, you can email acre@progressiveemployment.org. For our coordinated career pathways service, you can email ccp@progressiveemployment.org. And if you just want to chat with me, you can email pamh@progressiveemployment.org. As you saw, I always have my email open. I am very accessible. Anybody have questions? I'll stop my screen share. I'm happy to answer questions, or I'm happy to toss it back to the
I was
regional.
gonna say, you're able to drop that in the chat, the flyer?
Absolutely, I can, yeah. Or I should be able to.
Nothing other than, I mean, I'll just say, Carly and I meet ever so regularly with our friends at the Department of Developmental Services as it relates to the ongoing employment supports. And this is something that we, as a regional center, really want to see certainly utilized. So I appreciate you presenting about this. And if you guys do have any questions, Pam, can you just drop your email in the chat too, along with the flyer?
Absolutely. And if you are acquainted with PEC's long wait list for things like tailored day service or like community or community-based day program type services and things like that. I do want to let you know that that is not the case with coordinated career pathways. We are really endeavoring to build out that service, and we are also keenly aware that the department needs data on the service during the pilot. And so, being the good team player that we are in our service system, we would like to provide our service system with data on how that works. So, please do, like, don't weed yourself out. I'll weed you out if you're not, if there's some reason it doesn't work. You let me do that. That's my job. Don't weed yourself out prematurely, you know? I'll also just say, I think I forgot to say, eligible folks are going to be anyone within 2 years of transitioning from the school system. So that's either 2 years before you're done with school or 2 years after, anywhere in that 4-year window. But then also people who have recently exited either a work activity program or sub minimum wage. And I really want to highlight that because I'll say we haven't gotten any referrals from folks in that category. And those are really the folks that really kind of intensive resource development heavy service could benefit. And so all eligible people are encouraged to you're encouraged to refer all eligible people, but like, you know, you roll a nat 20 if you're exiting a work activity program, right? Like we especially want to hear from you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for a reminder about that. And I know that was an email that we just had recently about ensuring that, yes, there is no wait list for this service. They are accepting referrals. And we did have an opportunity to have a statewide meeting related to the transition away from sub-minimum wage. And I will just say that the reporting that the department is seeing is concerning as far as what those people are doing now. Again, I will say many of the people that were in those jobs at that time, we had a lot of older folks, and we did have some folks that decided to no longer participate in day services, but there certainly was concerns about folks not doing anything after they've transitioned out of sub-minimum wage, and certainly not transitioning into competitive integrated employment. And the services that Pam is talking about is to help support people to do that. So, all right, thanks so much for that. I am gonna try to do my best to share my screen.
And then one more thing. I'm
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead, Pam. Yeah.
It's not, it's actually, even though I have the option to drop files in the chat, it's not uploading. Can I email you the
Yeah,
order?
send it to Jason and he'll take care of it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to share my screen now. I think it's going to work, I hope. And I have a little video here, and along with it will be, I think, a large amount of appreciation that is expressed not only to all of the ACRC staff that we have on here, but for you as service providers as well. And actually, just gonna make sure I share my sound with this when I share it too. Share and optimize for video sharing. All right. Let me know, folks, if hopefully this works. Oh, it was all going so well. Sorry. My goodness, I just played this yesterday for our board meeting and it worked just fine. I have the video of our open house. Oh, there it is. Now it pops up. Sorry, 1 second here. Try sharing my screen again. All right. So first, I just want to acknowledge all of you that showed up for our open house and vendor fair. And we, again, really appreciated having all of the clients that were there that did their micro enterprises, as well as all of the service providers that set up booths as well. That was like super helpful. And I know it was so far the hottest day of the year for everyone. All right. Let's see if we can watch this here. Uh-oh. Looks like we're freezing up on our video here. Well, that's unfortunate. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pull it off of YouTube for you guys, and we'll drop it in there. I know Thalia put it into YouTube, but we did put a little video together of the open house. I will just say we really appreciated, as I said, everyone coming in. We got some really cool stories. Shauna, she was able to share one specifically of a participant that I think it was their first time participating in the Micro Enterprise Fair, and she got completely cleaned out of her items, I think by like 1:30. And what I appreciated too is just like, I know our service coordinators were able to pop by and say hi and interact with so many clients that participated in the Micro Enterprise Fair as well. And so again, just want to acknowledge you all. Thank you so much for participating in that event. And as I said, we'll try to maybe grab the link from YouTube to give folks here for the meeting. It will be highlighted in our newsletter that is coming out here shortly. All right, next up in our time here, I want to go over some new information that has been presented by the Department of Developmental Services. Are you guys, let's see, I can't view my participants. Show meeting, there we go. Are you guys seeing the trailer bill right there? Letter from the department? Yeah? All right. So I sent this over to our staff. It is not uncommon that we don't get these letters until September or October that are operationalizing some of the things that need to be done by the regional centers based off of the trailer bill. So the California budget process, we have the budget that gets passed, and then there is a trailer bill that goes along with it that describes a number of different items. Some of these things we've gone over when we had the May revision to the budget. Some of these items we went over when we went over the final budget when it was enacted. This is just a little bit of a summary of information. I don't necessarily need to go over all of it, but what it does is it requires some funding through appropriation for ongoing implicit bias trainings. There's not additional funding from the state, but if we have funding for it, we may offer some more training through our own agency resources. Rate reform, hold harmless date, and quality incentive program eligibility. These are things that we have talked about in here. So the hold harmless date has been shortened to February 28th of 2026. Which means that effective March 1, the rates for rate providers previously subject to hold harmless provisions will be adjusted to 100% of the posted rate model rate. And for those of you that are transportation providers, I believe that between Damien and Christine Hobbs, you have gotten information about the upcoming transportation vendor meeting that the state is putting on. If not, Damien can drop his information in the chat and you guys can reach out to him if you need that. But there is going to be a meeting about that because many of the transportation providers were in the hold harmless, and the state is looking at doing a recalculation of the mileage rates, which will mean that a lot more transportation providers throughout the state will not be in the held harmless. So I just wanted to mention that. Because the hold harmless is going to be ending sooner as well. And additionally, eligibility for the quality incentive program. We have discussed this previously, but as it's indicated here, there's compliance at a number of different areas, and surprise, surprise, though for years at our regional center, we have said that there's no activities tied for EVV, electronic visit verification, that regional centers need to do. Now the department has some new directives about what the regional center's requirements are, because now we need to verify electronic visit verification is something that is being done in order to be eligible for the quality incentive program. Additionally, HCBS service rules and the annual fiscal reviews and audit requirements. So again, these are all things that we're going to have to develop internal processes within our regional center to determine your eligibility for these things. With the quality incentive. The department's going to issue some guidance related to this. They have already issued guidance as it relates to seeking a health and safety waiver that we have to check on these different areas. So we know that the department is moving in this way of, in essence, total compliance in order for there to be a full receipt of the quality incentive, and also for there to be any variation of your rates through like a health and safety waiver. They're going to make sure that they have your audits and that they are reviewing them. We have already begun providing the department with the expanded requests that they have for health and safety waivers, which are also discussed here. They're going to be operationalizing the master plan through a series of upcoming meetings and updates. The health and safety waiver application assistance is no longer giving dedicated funding to the regional center for that. And at our regional center, we have already kind of moved that position around a little bit so that we can accomplish our goals of expanding health and safety waivers for individuals that need services in their own languages. And making that still a priority for our regional center, while also overall supporting our regional center community services departments. And so our lead community services specialist, Norma Vidarueta, does an amazing job handling those health and safety waivers. Cost-effective definition. There's going to be the department working with community partners, including regional centers, to determine what cost-effective means. And this is including but not limited to the self-determination program. And that's going to be no later than August 1st of 2026. There's a number of additional things that are outlined as it relates to the self-determination program as well. Again, I'll drop the link in the chat and you guys can look at this a little bit more. But lots of technical stuff as it relates here and specific guidance. And there's going to be a directive that the department is going to put out related to updated, the requirement for us to update our own self-determination policies and procedures to align with what the department is putting out. Additionally, for tailored day services, it was amended to require the department to set hourly rate for tailored day services and publish it on its website. They already did that. Sometimes by the time the letter comes out, DDS has already completed some of these different activities. The parental fee program has been repealed. Yay. I think folks are happy about that. Employment services. Welfare Institution Code 4851 was amended to correct the name of the Commission on Accreditation for Rehabilitation Facilities and to allow for group supported employment ratios of 1 direct service professional to 2 through 8 individuals receiving employment services. This change is consistent with the funded rate model for group supported employment. And effective July 1, supported employment group ratios align with the already published rate models. Regional centers must review the language changes to comply and update policies, procedures, publications, and other materials as needed. The department will issue instructions for new supported employment group submissions and reporting any changes to group ratios. I'm trying to remember, I think, Carly, that you were the ones that would report the group numbers to DDS before, right? Or does that go directly from the vendors?
Are you talking about new groups?
Yeah, new groups.
Yeah, vendors complete a form and send it to DDS and us to review.
So more information to follow. Anything else, Carly, that you think we need to share about that part of it?
No, not about that part.
And then the rate updates was amended to eliminate the requirement that regional centers must purchase habilitation services only from accredited nonprofit agency providers. So the requirement for employment providers to have nonprofit status is removed. Regional centers shall work with new or existing for-profit vendors that currently are providing employment services under different service code to become vendored for supported employment under service codes 950 or 952. So is that somewhat of a fix, Carly, to some of our programs that may have been vendored under like service code 055 or something?
I don't think any of those would qualify for 952 because they typically offer additional services in addition to employment. I know we have a applicant or two that we were trying to figure out how to make something like this work. So this will definitely change things for them.
All right, well, more to come for that. Again, it may be beneficial for us, Carly, at some point to do an employment services vendor forum or something like that to go over some of these new changes and stuff.
For sure.
Okay, and then requires the department to establish and publish hourly rates for supported employment groups. The department already posted those rates. Let's see, there was also any new work activity programs will receive the rate posted, and they already posted those rates as well on their website. Regional centers have a zero tolerance policy that requires regional centers, its vendors, and long-term healthcare facilities and their respective employees to be informed and knowledgeable in reporting abuse. Department of Social Services is required to develop standardized curriculum for mandated reporters by July 1 of 2027. This training shall be available to the internet. After that date, the department intends to require regional centers to train all employees who are mandated reporters using the new standardized curriculum. So I know out of Jordan's unit for years, we have been talking about the necessity to ensure that we have fantastic mandated reporter training, not only across the regional centers, but across our service providers as well. So that is the extent of the letter, 5 pages. We've had 18-page long letters in the past. It's all based on the amount of money that they have in the budget, usually based on how long of the things that are included in there that we have to operationalize as regional centers. So that information, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to drop it right into the chat for you all. And let's see here. Again, all of the transportation providers should have got the invitation for the upcoming meeting. Damien, what is that? Is it October 12th? I
Yeah.
believe.
Yes,
Yep.
it's October 12th at 10 a.m.
October 12th at 10 a.m. So if
Yeah.
you're a transportation provider, you don't have that invitation yet, please reach out to Damien, who is your assigned community services specialist, and he'll make sure that you get that invitation. You, as service providers, need to hear about what your new rates are. I will say that I am very pleased that we, as a regional center, have only, I believe, 5 service providers that have not transitioned over to the mileage rates, which our regional center is ahead of a number of regional centers throughout the state when it comes to transitioning over to the new rate methodologies. It's just that now we're going to be looking at a rate increase from the department for those mileage rates. So they will give that information out during that upcoming meeting. And I'm now going to share my screen with kind of one of the final things that I wanted to make sure that we touched on, other than reminding folks that we are going to be not having our meeting for the Friday before Labor Day. But, oh, I lost my screen again. 1 second here. Are folks seeing my shared screen here with the Department of Developmental Services website? Yep, right on. So my staff got to take a look at this, and this is kind of some newer information. Ooh, here we go. Here's an email, and this is an email that I forwarded to my staff that I feel like summarizes things pretty well before I get into the next step. This is standardized vendorization. So standardized vendorization is coming statewide. We've been talking about this. The department has completed the process, and now we are in the next step, which is going to be implementing it statewide by January 1. There's a lot of things that need to occur in order for us to get to that point, but I wanted to summarize some of the information. So what is going to change, what's not going to change? Service providers are vended by the regional center in the catchment area the service is located. The first I want to say is the provider directory that you've all been complaining about for like the last 10 months or so is now what we are going to be utilizing to process all of our new vendorizations for all the regional centers across the state, which right now we've got hundreds of vendorizations in process just at our regional center, and multiply that by 21 regional centers. So we're excited about some of the functionality that is going to be built into this. However, we have all expressed some challenges both on the regional center side and the service provider side with our interactions with the service provider directory. So just kind of want to caveat all of that. The vendoring regional center is responsible for ensuring the applicant meets licensing and Title 17 requirements for vendorization, determining the appropriate service category, approving or disapproving vendorization. The standardized process and solution accommodate for steps and document requests specific to the regional center. The vendorization via the provider directory does not replace existing systems. Regional center staff are still required to populate and maintain vendor information in all applicable systems, like we have our own systems at our regional center. And the vendor record validation process will occur in the provider directory. Excuse me. screen here. All applicants are required to apply for vendorization online via the provider directory. Currently, those individuals seeking to join the self-determination program or people doing emergency vendorizations are going to be able to directly reach out to the regional center because those aren't going to be handled through the statewide provider directory. Applicants are empowered to start an application at their convenience. Regional center staff will need to be attentive and responsive to meet prescribed processing time requirements. And we're going to share with you the new time frames for DDS that they have for vendorization. We'll be updating all of our websites to reflect the new process, and all of the communication with you as service providers is going to be going on in the directory, our back and forth communication. It's crazy. This has been posted on DDS's website, but there is no directive yet that changes Title 17 or any law like related to vendorization. So this is going to be the new process, but there's still a directive that's going to come out that basically, I guess, requires us to do all of these things as the regional center. So we will be implementing this by January 1. There will be a standardized vendorization process. It's going to be online. It's going to be going through the provider directory. The applicant is going to submit a request for vendorization. That's going to create like a new case in the ServiceNow system provider directory. And then you'll submit your information to support that you have the minimum requirements to proceed. This is also going to be used for like adding additional vendorizations. So let's say like you're already vendored with the regional center and you want to add new vendorizations. It's all going to go through this system. The directory will notify the vendoring regional center of the submission. The regional center has 15 days to review and decide whether the applicant has the minimum requirements for the service for which the applicant is applying. Communication between the applicant and regional center will take place in the directory, providing visibility and traceability for both parties. Right now, we have a different process within our regional center. We have an online letter of interest that comes in. We have expectations that our staff are reaching out to you as applicants within a certain time frame, that they are getting the information for the letters of interest. We're going to have to modify each regional center, all 21 regional centers, are going to have to modify their processes for these new vendorizations that are coming in to align with the new statewide vendorization process that's going on. Applicants that have the minimum requirements will receive a request to submit additional information in accordance with the service that which they are applying. There's no one that's going to be immediately vendored after 15 days because, as you recognize, there are like some vendorization documents that are required. It is impossible for everything right up front to kind of be front loaded. When all requested information is received, the regional center has 30 calendar days to confirm information is complete or request additional information. We might have some clinical folks on here, but certainly those of you that work in Helen's unit, sometimes you have to interact with our clinical staff. Jordan's unit too, Michelle's unit too. You have to interact with clinical staff on program designs, get feedback. You have to request program design revisions from service providers. That is this phase, and applicants will have 30 days to get those changes back to you. Or I believe that they go back to the beginning of the process. We close out the applicant and process. And then finally, once all of the documents are submitted in stage 3, once we've got that complete program design and we don't need any additional information, then we've got 45 days to either approve or deny that vendorization. And then applicants that meet the requirements will be notified, they'll get a vendor number, and then all the other applicants will get a denial notice, and then they will be able to appeal their decision. So there's going to be more that we get into about this, but the Department of Developmental Services put this on their website. We have a meeting with our community services staff next week where we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. And what's great about this is that a lot of the things that Alta was putting in place for our new computer Atlas process called Atlas is going to be in the new statewide service directory. Again, for you as service providers, we just wanted to make sure that you were aware. If you've been hearing about it, it is coming. And our understanding is that it's really going to be, as I said, addressing all the new vendorization. So if you have like a service code and we need to add something new vendorization to you, it's going to go through that system as well. And then the beauty of it is that all of the documents for vendorization are going to be saved in that system. And there will be the ability for the other regional centers to view those services as well. Now, we still have to work on verification with the local regional center that each regional center, it's okay to use those services. Some of you may be aware that in the past we've had like kids from LA just dropped off in care homes up in our area without any discussion with the regional center or anything. We've had adults brought up and dropped off in care homes in our catchment area without any notice to our regional center. And so those are some things that we're going to be operationalizing over the next 6 months. The only other announcement thing, and I just wanted to reiterate it, is that we are not going to be having Coffee with Community Services on the 29th of August. So on the 29th of August, we will not be having Coffee with Community Services for that Labor Day holiday. And unless I have anything else from our managers, I think that is going to be our meeting for today. I just want to acknowledge Michael. Thank you so much. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, Pam, for sharing as well. And we really want to encourage those coordinated career pathways. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend.